the session. I usually put everything up on my channel, so. Okay, so with a bit of luck, we've now got Banter Bundle Builder. So we're literally ready to go. And all you do is you drag the scene that you're wanting to build into here and hit the button. Make sure you check if you want an Android and Windows. I would normally recommend just build for Android to start with. If you're using the Quest headset, to go in and check it out. And then when you're all happy with it, build the Windows version. It saves a bit of time, that's all. But it will actually build... what you'd have to do is in upload, you go to this link and you put the code in, and then it will actually link it to your account and it'll upload it to the world you want as well. I never do that. I always just build it and then upload them manually. Although having said that, hasn't the side quest space changed? Let's have a quick look.
That's basically side quest. You just go on the side quest website and then you go to link side quest apps, yeah. And then just enter that number. That's all you're basically doing. But,
yeah, spaces. We got to go to spaces. So, for instance, if I open that one up, manage space, Banter.
Excuse me.
There we go. And that's where, once you've built it, for instance, oh goodness, I've clicked the wrong thing. Here we go. This is saved as it is. It's an empty scene, but we'll drag it into there and we'll build it. Is it going to tell me it's not going to build because there's nothing in there?
You can also, that's how you upload to the marketplace as well.
Yeah.
That they're working on. You can use the SD, you can drag prefabs in there or a scene.
Well, I've just put a cube in. So we could build it, check the following info to make sure everything's correct. Yes, yes, that's all fine. Space doesn't matter because I'm not uploading. It should, with a bit of luck, unless it's changed because I haven't uploaded anything in a little while, it should pop up with a folder. So I'm just going to... Why has it got all of these? Oh, it's because it's all in me other scenes thing. Shouldn't have done that, should I? We'll see what happens. I'll leave it to do its stuff. For now,
It looks like it's gonna...
let's just have a little play around with something.
Prefab, correct? I'll upload that to the marketplace. You just...
to be honest, Tree, I haven't even looked at the marketplace thing. I'm so behind with everything.
I uploaded 2 items to the marketplace just to... I was playing around with it.
Yeah.
I uploaded 2 items to there. And then to the marketplace just to... I was playing around with it.
Okay.
I uploaded items to there. You can put a prefab in there and then it'll upload it to the marketplace.
Right.
Everything is out of focus. Is it me or is that just how it is?
Oh.
I can't read a thing on there.
Oh, it's probably because my text is way too small. Let's see, can I make it bigger? Do I know how to make it bigger? No, I haven't got a clue.
You don't have your keys on.
Yeah, I know. I haven't got screencast keys installed in this, but I've actually, believe it or not, updated from 3.4 to 3.6. I'm still not on 4, and I won't go on to 4 right now because it just crashes me PC.
Oh,
but yeah, as I say, there you go. It pops up with you the information you need. So going back to the SideQuest website, if you're in the space that you want, you literally, I don't know if I want to overwrite that because I think that might be my cathedral, but you would literally just replace or upload or replace. You've got your index HTML. This is asking for windows.banter, so you look for the matching one, you'd upload that one. and again the android.banter file. And once you've done that, once they're uploaded, that's it. Your world's done. It's uploaded. So it is easy to do. It's
Okay, cool. Thank you.
The side quest thing can be a bit confusing. So it's spaces and events. Find the space you want to upload to, manage space, and then banter, and that's where you upload them. But like I say, it is automated as well. So once you get this set up here on the website, you just type in the code and it's good to go. When you build, it will automatically build and upload in one go for you. So you don't have any of that. But I'm just a little bit anal and like to do it manually, so I know it's done properly. But that's it. Yeah, we've got the.
I don't want to monopolize everybody's. I don't want to monopolize everybody's time, but are there also assets in that you just imported that you can use, or scripts, or other than just the build script?
I think you need to. Is there an old version of the SDK somewhere with the old scripts?
If you go up to you go to Windows, Package Manager, and then you click on the SDK. Yeah, go to Windows, Package Manager, and then click on the Banter SDK. Click on Samples.
Right. Is this the visual scripting samples though that it does?
The scene, I mean, that's the first sources there, and then that'll make a folder called I think it's samples folder, and it's gonna have all kind of prefabs in there. A lot of the tools that Lisa made, like the thruster, is in there in that folder, and you can just literally drag and drop it.
Yeah, I think that's all with the visual scripting though, isn't it? I'm almost certain.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's just drag and drop. It literally just a drag and drop. If you see right there,
see, that's visual scripting where we've got script graphs.
Not that one. No, not that one. You imported the wrong folder. You supposed to import the first one.
It was the first one that I imported. Because it says to re-import.
Yeah, that one right there.
Basics, yeah, that's the one I've imported.
Basic, yeah, basic. Where is it at?
It says
basic.
Basics.
Got your basic folder right there, yeah. It's in there, yeah, and it's in one of those for the gadgets. And then you got it's in one of those simple.
Shall we open up that?
That's the scene. So you can copy everything from that scene.
So there's the thruster.
They got the thrusters.
See, and this is all. This is all visual scripting here, where we've got the script machine and all of these bits and bobs.
Yeah, but it's in let me open it up on my.
There's all the notes.
It's in one of those folders where you can literally just drag and drop it. It's Let me open it up real quick.
So you're basically never writing C# to make stuff for this?
No, C# not allowed. It's not. It's too dangerous. It's for security reasons. You can do some pretty heinous stuff with C# if you know your stuff. So it's just not allowed. There are, as I say, in the old SDK, there are pre-made C# scripts that you can drag and drop and use. It's just finding. I did have a copy of the old SDK somewhere. I wonder if it's still in me. In here, maybe. Yeah, that looks like it could be it. 2023, 2024. Yeah, I've got copies of the old SDK, but I'm pretty sure it's still available somewhere. I wonder if it's down as under versions in GitHub. No, doesn't say. Oh, that's because I'm in the wrong thing. That's somebody else's. There we go, 9 releases. Let's have a look. So yeah, you can go back and get the old ones. Definitely worth having a look at. I mean, obviously that one's got a caution. I'm not sure I would. That's to go with Unity 20. Ah, right, okay.
What the
Because we've already switched to 339 F1, haven't we? I would probably go with that as the oldest. Oh, that's a caution. And that's to do with the new stuff. See what it says in the change logs. Get user state, yeah.
So when you see, like, in
That's
a
all.
world, a music player or some other kind of like UI, is that built by Banter or is that built by the developer?
Well, you're talking really one and the same thing, to be honest. Because Banter is owned and built by SideQuest. It's still Shane. He's the CEO of SideQuest and he's the owner of Banter. And just
No. I just meant like if the world builder includes a music player, did the world builder
No.
make the music player, or is
I
that
see
just a
what you mean.
pre-built?
No.
Yeah,
No.
no, that's something that we. I don't know how anybody does it these days, but for here, for instance, it's a very similar script that's in here. This is just a browser, and to be honest, the music player's just a browser as well. And to me, it's just something I've added into the index HTML file
Yeah,
that
it's
loads the
YouTube
world.
player.
I don't know if is there a new. Does anybody know? Is there another way of doing it? I'm way behind with stuff like that. Everybody's asking me all these
put it
Unity
in
questions, and I don't know a feck about Unity. I know how to bring stuff in.
Man.
Yeah. Completely forgot what I was doing now. I was just having a play with this, wasn't I? Does anybody want to ask us a question about something? I know, like modelling and bringing models into Unity and baking lighting and making it look cool. Because I really don't know anything about scripting. That's something you need to ask Aline. That's not my area. This is a beginner's session. So scripting's a little bit advanced.
Sorry.
I am
Yeah.
a
It's all
complete
right.
and
Okay.
utter beginner. I haven't even started.
Hey.
That's how beginning I am.
Yeah, okay.
I might have a question about Blender.
Right.
It's a little bit advanced, I think. I'm not sure, but I know about texture painting. But I wanted to put a real someone's face on an avatar. And is it just the same way? Is it just once you get the UVs, you texture paint it on, or do you line it up with just UVs? Is there a way to texture paint a face if you wanted a really realistic avatar? You know, you create the face from a picture in Photoshop and then somehow paint it onto the avatar?
Yes.
Because in the UVs it's really stretched, so you couldn't really use the UV map, because I know I can export the UV map into Photoshop, but it's all like stretched, and it'd be probably quite hard to stretch the photo. So I was wondering whether I could just somehow paint the photo of the face directly onto a
right.
sculpted head of an avatar.
Okay.
That's what I really want to learn how to do.
Yeah, that's
I'm so
not
close.
the easiest thing in the world to do. What you can do in Blender is, I'm just going to bring in a sphere. This'll do, so it unwraps reasonably well. We'll unwrap it. Something like that. No, that's no good. Let's try just Smart UV unwrap, and we'll give it a little bit of an island, so we don't get bleeding between, like colour bleed between. So what I would do, set up a basic shader, a basic material rather, and we'll add in an image, which is going to be what we're going to paint onto. I'll just give it a name, call it, I don't know, we'll call it stencil, because we're going to try and stencil onto it using something else, a photograph or something. I'll turn alpha off because we don't need transparency. Excuse me, and that'll just make the file a bit smaller. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. And I've drank all my
I
water.
cannot see that at all.
I think I might sneeze now as well, so I hope I don't deafen you. Here it comes. Excuse me.
You're not
do
the
beg
only
your
one, Sarah.
pardon.
It's pretty
Bless
blurry.
you.
Bless you.
Oh, excuse me. So if I zoom in a bit, hopefully you can see a little bit better.
Oh, that's better.
I've just created
it is better.
principal BSDF, and I've added an image. I'll go through that again. Just add texture, image texture, plug it in, colour into base colour, and I created it. I'm just going to call it stencil again. It'll probably give it another name, stencil 1 or something. Yes, it has, because we've already got an image in memory now that I've just deleted. And then we can go into texture paint. I'll zoom in on my ball and see if I can find a photograph, maybe online. I don't know what I'm going to create.
How
find
big
a
is
photo
that ball
of.
you just made?
The ball, it'll be a 2-meter ball because everything has a default width of 2 meters in Blender, so it's a 1 meter radius on it. But you just scale it down. I'll do that in a moment. What am I going to be looking for? A photo of, well, we'll just see a face, I guess, and see how we get on. Free face photos. I'll just grab one of these. She'll do. First one, download. There we go. So if I go back to Blender, oh, that's not what I wanted. Back to Blender.
What are you about to do now?
I'm now going to attempt to paint or stencil that face onto this ball if I can. Not entirely sure
okay.
how I'm going to do it. But what we need to do is tell it that we're going to use a texture, first of all. Click new, and then under here, we should be able to open the image in downloads that we've just... The easiest thing to do is just find it and drag it in here. Open image, there it is. And then back to the draw section. I think under tiled we need to change that to stencil, and there it is. So if we go into front view, this is where I always get confused. Yeah, right click moves your stencil. Control rotates it, and right mouse button. Shift and right mouse button resizes it. And then you can just move it just with the right mouse button on its own. And if you resize it and get it lined up properly to the face, I guess we should just be able to paint on. And we're actually using the stencil to paint onto the texture of the ball. And once we've done that, you can see in the UVs. Hang on, let's just turn off stencil.
Very cool, very cool.
And you can see it there on the image. And then you
Yeah.
just have to save the image.
That's it, Lisa.
Obviously, you would spend more time doing a good job than I've done. But that's how I would probably approach it, yeah.
Brilliant. Yes. Yes.
So, yeah,
this is
you can-
exactly what I want to know. It was the missing piece. Thank you so much.
Okay, no
Wow.
problem.
I'm pretty excited right now. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Okay. Well, anybody else got any questions that I can answer?
Yeah, what is it? What was that on the side there? I don't even know what that is.
On the side, I'm not sure what
On
you
the
mean.
side, when you had the faces up there,
This
there
bit
was
here.
one- yeah, that. What is
So
that?
this is the UV
Yeah.
map. So if we go into just the basic layout view, and I'll turn the texture off so it doesn't get confusing. If you hit tab, you can see we've got a mesh. This is the mesh, and it's made up of vertices and lines and faces, and you can once you're in edit mode, you don't have to use tab. You can just pull it down from here, change from object mode to edit mode. Using buttons 1, 2 and 3 on your main keyboard, not on the numpad, you can change between the different views. So these are the vertices, the little dots, and these are where lines are connected, and you can press 2 and you've got the actual lines you can see. If I was to delete a face, for instance, we've still got the lines. So faces are separate again, but they're connected to, if that makes sense, the lines. And when you unwrap it, you go into UV edit and imagine you want to build this out of paper. And you want to have all these flat pieces that you can stick together and it'll make your model. That's basically what you're trying to do when you unwrap something. This isn't a particularly good example. If I was to just delete that and say bring in, we'll bring in a basic cube. The cubes are already unwrapped and you can see you've got 6 sides, and if you folded it along all of these creases, you would get a perfect cube, and you could just glue them along the edges. So that's basically what a UV map is. And again, you can absolutely paint onto anything. This is bright pink because it hasn't got a material. We're going to give it the same material we've just used. And there's the face on it going over an edge, because that is where it was painted on the image. But when you put a new mesh over it, you can see it's going over 2 boxes there. I don't know if that makes sense. I could, if I wanted, just paint that out. Using black, I guess. Is that my main colour? Yeah, I can just paint it out directly on here. You can paint on the object, or you can paint on the image in the UV map, whichever you find easiest. And we can swap them over again, and I could maybe put I didn't want that. Let's use the texture. Let's get rid of that. Oh man, we're not using a texture. Is it going to use the colour? Yeah, we could just put a letter on there and you can see how it appears on here. So basically,
so you do everything this way, or can you go inside there and do stuff?
Inside on here, you could absolutely draw on here,
like,
if that's what you mean. And there'll be a D on one of the faces.
Go in personally there. Inside there.
Not entirely sure what you mean. I mean, this is how you would unwrap.
When your world is done, you can walk in it, right?
Right, yeah.
And you walk in it at this point.
Not until it's uploaded to Banter. And you need to have meshes and textures on your object. So you've got a complete object to upload to Banter. So you need to bring it into Unity first. Shall we do a basic thing to kind of demonstrate? Sorry, I'm starting off with that blank scene again. I'll just start with a new scene here. And we'll get rid of everything. I'll start off with a ground. So I'm going to bring in a plane, add mesh plane, and we'll scale that up so it's nice and big. And if we go, we need to apply the scale, always apply the scale. So this should be 1, 1, 1 all the way down, and the same for rotation. So all you do is Control A, and I just usually use apply the rotation and scale, and that resets all of these. So we've got the ground. I'm going to go into material mode and we'll give it a texture. Now I think I've got some textures already downloaded, so I'm just going to see if I can find something that looks like grass, or I don't know, anything really. what we
Where do
got
you get
here.
your textures from?
I get me textures
Anywhere?
from, this is a great one to use. Aline told me about this. My favourite places to get textures are Ambient CG and Polyhaven. And they're actually on here, but if you untick these and do a search for whatever you're looking at, so it's 3dassets.1, just have a search for what it is you're looking for. I'm going to look for grass, and you get all of these different options coming up where you can download your textures. So as I say, my favourites, Ambient CG, Polyhaven and 3D textures. So I'll choose a grass, anyone will do, and I'll click on that. And you get all these different options. Now, if you're not using transparency, you've got no reason to use a PNG file. You can see the difference in size. The 2K JPEG is 38 megs. The 2K PNG is 71 megs. We need to keep your meshes as small as possible. I don't mean physically small, but file size small. So as low poly as you can get. And you need to keep your textures as small as possible. I always download 2K textures and upload them at that size for Windows, but for Android I reduce them, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So I would download the 2K JPEG. It'll download as a zip file. So go in there, here it is. I'm going to extract everything. So there is, oh come on, our folder with the grass. You can see there's lots of different materials. You don't need to worry about these just yet. I have gone into detail in previous videos how to optimize it to use several grayscale maps in one texture. But if you're just starting, just bother with the colour. You don't need to worry about the other stuff to begin with. So all we'd do is we'd go into shading in Blender, hit new to create new material, and I'm just going to bring that up and zoom in a bit. Give it a name. I'm just going to call it grass. And the easiest, I've done it again, keep clicking on the wrong things. Easiest thing to do is just with your folder open, drag it in. Move it over there and you can plug it in, and now you can see we've got grass on the ground. It might be too big because this is like 15 meters, nearly 16 meters across. So yeah, you probably need to tile it a bit. That's easy enough to do. There's two ways of doing it. You can either add in a mapping node here and increase the scale. But I find the easiest way to do it is just in the UV editor. You've got your mesh, it's already unwrapped. You've got your UV map here. I'll turn on material view so you can see what happens. Just increase the size of this and you'll see the grass changes scale in the image. So now we've got much better looking grass on there. So we've got a ground to start with. What we'd need to do is save the image first of all. This is going to be our new scene with this test file. I just want to save it in here. I've called it 2205 2025 because it was actually, I guess, 22nd of May when I created this. I don't know. So into your shading again. Open up with this little drop down menu the grass material we've created, or the image that we've imported, and just save it. Save a copy. And we'll want to stick it into wherever your folder is. Oh, come on. What have I done? Banter project, where's it gone? Assets. That's still not it. Here it is. I flipped the list somehow. And that was it, wasn't it? Just in assets. So we'll save that, and when we go back to Unity, there is our texture there, all ready to go. So we can export the plane. So File, Export. Now, Unity likes FBX files, so I would always recommend using FBX to bring it into Unity, and I'm going to do the same again. D, Banter Projects, Assets, and I'm going to call it Ground. And over here, if you're going to be doing it bit by bit, make sure you choose Selected Objects and Mesh and Export FBX. And then over here, we've got another file, which is our ground. The grass, we need to create a material because you can't apply a texture to an object. Well, you can, but it'll give it a standard built-in Unity material, which isn't ideal. We're just going to create our own material. And for this one, because I like to use baked lighting, I'm going to choose a nice easy one, which for some reason I've got loads. We're just going to choose Mobile Unlit Supports Light Map. And we can drag that image up to here. And that's our material created. And then we just drag the ground in. You can drag it directly into the scene if you want, but because I just want it centered, you can see it's at 0, 0, 0. I've put it there. And then just drag the material onto it, and that is ready to go. And we can make something else that we want in the world. So let's create, I don't know, anything, I guess. A cylinder. We'll bring it up a little bit, actually move it up by exactly a metre so it's sitting on the ground. And I'll move it over to here. You can see all of these. You know what, I'm going to do that again. Mesh, cylinder. Before you move it or do anything, I recommend opening up this little menu here and reduce the number of vertices, because you can hide a lot. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, and we want it to be as low poly as possible. So I'm going to reduce it to say 12 sides. And we can right click and choose Shade Auto Smooth. Now Shade Smooth, if I bring this above and just go here, you can see we've got weird shading. Shade Flat, it looks normal. Shade Smooth looks bizarre, because it's trying to smooth this top edge, not just around the sides. So you can't really see a crisp edge, sharp edge where there should be. If you choose Shade Auto Smooth, we've still got a sharp edge there, which we can fix in a minute, and there, but at least these bits are nice and smooth, and we've still got this edge, which is exactly how it should look, really. All we do, anything down here, it says 30 degrees. Anything 30 degrees and lower will be smoothed, and anything over 30 degrees will be sharp. So this is obviously a 90-degree angle here. We could crank that up so it's just below 90 degrees, or just crank it up till it picks up all the other edges. If I take this beyond 90 degrees, you can see I'm nearly there. Boop, it's gone weird again. We're at 90.8. So you need it to be just enough, really, to pick up all of the edges you want to be smoothed. So I'm just going to set that back to 0, move it up by 1. And I'm also going to scale it. To scale it, you hit the S key, and that makes it bigger and smaller. But I don't want it to get taller and shorter. I just want it to get thinner. So if you hit Shift and Z, you can exclude the Z axis, and then I can make a thin pole. And the same for moving it. I'm going to move it on everything but the Z-axis, so I can move it around, but it's always at the same height, still sitting on the ground. And then I'm going to unwrap it manually because I don't like the way Blender unwraps stuff with the smart UV project. So to unwrap it, we would probably, if I was to make this out of paper, I think what I'd probably do is take these two and have them as separate pieces. So what you'd need to do is put a seam there, and to do that you hit U or go into the UV menu and choose Mark Seam, and then just one of these edges down the side. You've got to remember, if you texture this, there's going to be visible joins where the seams are. So usually what I would do is that if this is, for instance, going to be up against a wall or out of view, I would just put the seam somewhere where you can hide it. So again, I just select that edge. I'm just using 1, 2 and 3 on the keyboard to choose faces and edges. So 2 is for an edge. You can also, if we click, this one's a lot easier to understand, the sync. You can click these buttons here as well to change it. So this is obviously an edge up here. So U, Mark Seam, and now we can select everything. We can go to UV and just a basic unwrap, and it's unwrapped this entire thing with it split at that seam, and then the two circles are exactly as we wanted. However, you can see it's not the same scale. It doesn't seem to be to me, and that's because, if I go back to layout view, the scale's not uniform. So again, you can either hit Control and A, or if you go up to Object, Apply, Scale. And these are now back to 1. So we unwrap again, UV, unwrap, and that looks a lot better. And we can also give it a bit of a margin, which is what we should be doing. Give it a bit of space, because otherwise, if you have them touching each other, sometimes you'll find colour may bleed through onto another edge. Like you might have this a different colour, and that colour might just show up on the edge of that face on the side of the column there. So always give them a bit of space. So that's that. Shall we give this a separate texture? I don't know what we're going to use. Anything, I guess. Let's see what I've got. Go up here. What do I have? Shall we just use this interesting looking thing? Or maybe, I don't know. Some of these are still all zipped up. Yeah, we'll try this marble here. So again, into shading, new, I'm just going to call it marble. Drag the image in, hook it up. So hopefully this is now marbly looking. You can hit the period key on the numpad to zoom in on it if you can't move around very well. I'm just using the middle mouse key here, holding it down to kind of pan around the object. But yeah, that's something else made, so we could literally we need to save the image. So open it up here. No, come on, Lisa. Marble, image, save a copy, enter projects, 20 assets, and we'll just keep it at that, marble whatever. And we'll also file, export, FBX, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, column, I guess. Still got selected objects, mesh, still in the right folder. So export. So now we've got this thing here. I'm just going to rename this because it says new material. Let's see if I can I make that bigger? Not really. This does say new material, so I'm just going to rename it to grass. I'll create another material, which I'm going to call marble. We'll give it the same shader, so it's a mobile shader, so it's going to work great on Quest. Vertex unlit supports light maps, what I wanted. Drag in the marble material, drag in the column, which is this. It'll appear exactly where it is in your scene in Blender, so you don't have to start placing things and moving them around. Drag on the marble material we've just created, and we're kind of ready to go. If you wanted to bake your lighting, I do recommend you bake lighting, and I think we're probably overstepping it a bit for beginners today with light baking, but the real-time lights are quite tough on resources for mobile headsets. One light source you can probably get away with as long as it's not a particularly complex scene, but it has to calculate all the light bounces in real time as well as do everything else that you're doing in the headset, and it will affect your frame rate. And the more lights you have, the more your frame rate will suffer. There's also a limit to how many real-time lights you can have, so the more you have, you'll notice that some of them will be like flickering on and off as well, as it's trying to prioritize what it thinks are the most important lights. So I would always recommend you bake your lighting. When you bake your lighting, what it does is it creates another image which it kind of overlays the whole world, and it's got all your lighting information and shadows baked into it. So it just has to load this texture, no real-time calculations to do, and it'll vastly improve performance.
Can I ask a quick question about that?
Yeah, of course.
Do you always generate baked lighting by setting up lights and baking, or do you ever find yourself actually just directly painting like highlights on objects through the texture?
I have never painted highlights on objects because I am an absolutely rubbish artist. That's the only reason.
Oh, okay.
I wish I could,
Well, that's
because it's
actually useful
absolutely
because I'm a
doable.
terrible artist too. Yeah, I can't paint either. That's why I asked.
Yeah, it is absolutely 100% doable. A lot of people do that. A lot of game developers and stuff will do that. They'll create an entire scene and paint every single thing by hand, including all the shadows and all the highlights and everything. I don't do that. I really don't do that. I'm all for the easiest solution possible. So now I've already got Bakery installed. Unity has its own lighting, Light Baker, but it's not very good and it takes forever. Bakery is a paid asset that you get off the Unity store. If you have the resources to get it, I do recommend it. It does go on sale regularly as well, and you can often get it for half price. So it is absolutely worth every penny. For now, I'm going to use Bakery, but you don't have to. It's just because we've literally got 3 minutes, essentially, technically 3 minutes of the event left. I don't want to sit here just doing nothing because Unity's going to be baking the lighting for the next 20 minutes. So I'm going to keep the directional light. That's what we're going to use to bake. I'm going to change it to baked just because I don't want... I'm always worried it's going to cast some real-time light as well. Because it's Bakery, we need to add a Bakery script, but you can miss this out if you're using Unity's light mapper. So that's it set up for Bakery. With Unity, all you do is you hit new, create a new lighting asset. the items you want to be baked, you have to mark everything. You can either just tick contribute global illumination, or what most people do is they just tick up here for static, and what that does is it gets it ready for your occlusion culling, which I can cover in another session. We can cover that next week if anybody's interested. Reflection probes are awesome. If you're ever going to have anything reflective, anything metallic in your scene, I recommend reflection probes. But I recommend using them anyway because it just makes your lighting look more realistic. Once you've done that, we'll do it with the column as well. You literally just bake. As I say, with your lighting, you either hit generate lighting, or if you've got bakery, just hit render. Yes, we want to save the scene. And because bakery is so fast and does such a good job, we just literally wait a few seconds. And with a bit of luck, if I haven't messed it up, we'll get some shadows. And there we go, we've got a shadow already of the column.
Cool.
Your light is going to be inactive. Once you've uploaded it, there are no real-time lights, but it looks like it's lit up and you've got a lovely... That's a very dark shadow. You'll get more realistic ones with the Unity light mapper. The reason this is dark is because we haven't added a bakery skylight. So what I normally do is I'll add the skylight. Under the colour, I'll usually choose something that matches the sky I'm using at the time. So I'll just use the eyedropper and pick something that's kind of bluish, I guess. And if I was to rebake that, hopefully my shadow isn't going to be quite so black. Obviously, the more items you have, the more it has to calculate, the longer it's going to take. And there's a much more realistic shadow. We can see the grass through it. One side of the pole, I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but one side should be lighter than the other. So this side is all lit up by the sun, and this side it's a bit darker. So it's as easy as that for baking your lighting. And honestly, I just don't see any reason why people don't do it, because your worlds will look absolutely awesome when they're done. And I don't know anybody who hasn't seen it. Where did I put it? Was it this one possibly? We'll soon find out. This has been uploaded, but it isn't featured yet because I'm still working on it. But I was planning on sharing the template for this, or the Blender file, when it's finished, so everybody people can pick it apart and see how it was made, basically. And if anyone's got any any questions, I can answer them in another session. Some reason it's taken.
Thank you so much for the
absolutely
demo. That was
forever.
awesome.
No
Yeah, thanks a
problem.
lot.
I'm
It
just
was
hoping
cool.
this
Yeah,
actually
so
loads
good.
up, because it's taken ages. It is quite a big
Baby,
file, I
I'm
have
so
to admit. Come on. No, and that wasn't what I wanted. After all, it's taken forever to load a mushroom. That wasn't what I wanted. It's not where I think it is. Unless... Is it in here? No, it must be a different file. Not to worry.
Boo!
Oh, there it is. You see, I did rename it. It's just called Cathedral. This has all got baked lighting. There are no real-time lights whatsoever in here. It's
Boo.
all baked.
Boring. Who are you looking at?
Have you just kicked Trey, Bart?
Oh,
That.
no, it was a kid, I think.
Oh, I hope
He
so.
was going boo. No, I didn't see Trey. I actually hadn't seen him for a little while.
Okay,
So.
okay.
Yeah, it wasn't Trey.
I literally flashed back and
He
thought,
did you a
oh
favour.
no. Right, okay. So
No. Oh,
this is something I
that's
made in
lovely.
Blender. And all of this, like the
Oh,
light from the
wow.
candles, the light coming through the windows, the the light up here from the lamps on the ceiling, the lights on the walls here from these lamps. All of this is baked. Even these bits here with the little candles in the alcoves is all baked.
It's beautiful.
So
It is beautiful.
Oh my.
I would, as I say, it's not finished. There's still
Wow.
plenty to do. But I would, like I say, you can't get lighting like this from real-time lights. You'll never get anything looking like this with real-time lights. And it works lovely even in on Quest, because it's
Is
pretty
that
low
bakery?
poly.
You did bakery.
This is bakery, but you could just as easily do it using Unity's built-in light mapper. I mean, yes, I would recommend bakery, but, you know, I'm not on commission, so I'm not going to push it that hard, you know. So,
Can I see the outside of the church? It's just lovely. I made a
You
church.
can.
It's just
You'll
not even
hate
close
it.
to as lovely as this.
it's a
How do I
plain
see?
with
Oh,
some
wow.
triad trees, and when you turn
What?
around, they're single-sided walls, so you can see inside.
Whoa, that's
'Cause
clever.
you're
No,
not
you
actually
don't like
meant
that.
to go
Oh, I made a
outside.
proper
So all of the faces that you don't
Oh,
see,
sorry, sorry.
I've deleted on this
I didn't
side
see
to
that.
save the geometry, to save space. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
it's just lovely. Oh,
But yeah, this,
that's a
as I
good
say,
job. You've made that in Blender. The ceiling is amazing.
everything, yeah.
Very nice.
Mm,
Like I say,
yeah, stunning.
because I haven't finished with the Blender file, I've got to try and remember where I put it. Is it open recent?
How long has
Have I
it
got
taken you to
there?
make that cathedral?
There we go. About 3 days. There's the Blender file.
3 days.
Yeah. Yeah, about 3
Wow,
days.
that looks like months of work.
Yeah, it really wasn't.
I won't tell how long mine took.
Because all I did was this arch thing here. I made one and then I duplicated it. So I only had to model it once on both sides. I only had to make one bench and then duplicate loads of them. I only had to model one alcove and duplicate it. You know what I mean? So even the
Yeah,
windows and
yeah.
everything, it was just, everything's just repeated so many times. So there wasn't actually that much modelling involved. Even these lamps, there's several of them. All I did was take one of these big ones and just make it a bit shorter to put on the sides. So everything's being reused as much as possible. But yeah, as I say, I just wanted to kind of highlight how fab the lighting could be. This is actually live. Like I
Yeah,
say,
it
it's
is.
not featured because it's not finished. But I mean, if anybody has time and they
Can we
haven't got
go,
another
please?
event to
I
go
would love
to,
to.
yeah. I just want to get your
Yeah, let's do it.
enthusiasm up. I want to get you excited about modelling and making your own stuff, you know. It's not me trying to show off. I'm trying
excited.
I'm trying to get you more enthused.
Yeah, me too.
Let's have a look. Where
Lisa,
is
you're
it?
too
Spaces.
humble, woman. You are amazing.
Well, I don't
You're
I
too
don't like
humble,
to
girl.
brag. I
Down
really
on your
don't.
work.
My spaces. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Was it the test space? I wonder if that's where it is. Banter Temple, Catacombs, Christmasville. It's got to be the test space. Shall we see if that's what it was? We'll soon find out, I guess. Has everyone gone through? I can't see behind it. I'll hit go through anyway. Ooh.
Is someone?
No, this isn't it.
Very,
Oh, this
lovely.
isn't where we wanted to be. Where did I put it? Banter Temple, Christmasville, SFB.
like one of
Oh,
Nico's
here it
things.
is. There it is. That's the right one, I think. This is me playing with shaders. Yeah, this
look
is
at
the one.
this,
This is the one.
Oh my gosh.
Lisa, wow. Oh my.
So,
Is it possible to save this to show my husband?
you should be able to favourite it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have actually changed it. These benches come much further forward now in the Blender file. I just haven't uploaded it yet. And like I say, there's lots of other stuff I'm going to be doing to it. I'm just going to megaphone myself again, because people are a long way away. But yeah, there you go. That is the magic of baked lighting. So if I can get people to bake their lighting, I will be absolutely stoked, because we're going to have some absolutely awesome looking spaces.
Elisa, I can't save it, unfortunately.
You should be able to go into recent history. Has it got it there?
Let's see it. Recent history. Oh, yeah, it doesn't have a picture of me. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, this 04ED22, that one.
Probably, yes. Your most recent one will be the top left, yeah, so that'll be it, I think.
Nice, thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you Welsh?
No, I'm not.
No.
Yeah. Notice all the other English people here are laughing at me. No, I'm English.
Had to ask, sorry.
Oh, man.
It's not Scottish or Irish, it says under her name.
Yeah, maybe I need to say I'm not Scottish, Irish or Welsh. But, yeah. Okie dokie. Well, the event is officially over. I hadn't long been back from work before I came in here, and I really need to go and eat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm famished now.
Did you record this?
Oh, yes, and I'm still recording. I should probably stop, shouldn't I? That's
I would definitely like to watch this as soon as possible, so let me know when it's up.
No problem.
And, yeah.